Hi everyone. When you were a kid, did you ever get in trouble for defending something that you thought that it was really important?
We shall not be moved.
Well, today we'll be checking on a group of kids who are always standing up against the unfair. That's right. Today we'll be talking about Disney's Recess. Recess was not the longest show ever, as it was running only between 1997 and 2001, but it gave so many good lessons about kids' activism and the importance to stand up for whatever you believe is right. So even as a kid, I remember watching this show and thinking of the importance of standing up for what is right. I'm really excited about this one. Let's get into it. The episode we will be watching on today is called The Candidates, and here's what you need to know. In Recess, we know the story of 6 kids. 2 of them are going to run for class president, and 2 of them are going to support them as their campaign managers. 2 of them actually don't want to do anything with it because they just think that this rivalry is going to set the group apart. So with no further ado, let's just watch this.
Okay, people, this morning we will accept nominations for 4th grade president. So, are there any nominations?
My fellow 4th graders. He saw us through the milk drought in 1st grade. He steered us through the 3rd grade candy recession without the loss of a single A. I nominate our once and future president, Vince LaSalle!
One more year.
He's the incumbent. He's a very popular kid because he does sports. So let's see if actually someone challenges him.
Any other nominations?
We got Vince. Why would we need any other candidates?
Oh, no. Part of what makes democracy groovy is getting to choose among candidates. How can you choose if there's only one?
I really like what she said, and she's actually super right. Democracies work because we have several choices. And even within our organizations, we have to have several positions, and we should be able to elect and see different proposals. That's the essence of democracy, basically.
You know, it is kind of boring. Vince automatically winning every year. I concur. Why don't you run, Gretchen? You're always yammering about how you want to create that council of students. I nominate Gretchen Grendler!
Wait a minute, Spinelli. I didn't agree to...
I second the nomination!
Good idea, Teach. It's not gonna feel like we win unless we beat somebody. I third the nomination!
Well then, I accept.
Here's what you need to know about her. I'm really happy that she's a very idealistic candidate, and many times we actually need candidates like this. We don't need only realist people in the world. But the problem with her is that actually, even in her utopian vision, she's already assuming that everybody has the same interest to have 5 extra hours of homework just like her. And that is a bad start.
4th graders of 3rd Street, I give you the candidate who runs faster and kicks harder, Vince LaSalle!
Thank you. Friends, I have always been the candidate committed to running fast and kicking hard. Now I say to you as we approach this historic moment, I can run faster and kick harder than ever before.
Another election in El Banco.
What does kickball have to do with being a good president?
A lot of people actually look on their candidates a lot of strength and a lot of skill. Yes, we're talking about the class president. Gretchen has a good point. What does kickball has to do with anything? Maybe he should be talking not on how strong he is. Maybe he should be talking about some things that are important for the kids. Cafeteria, recess, homework.
My fellow voters, if elected, I have many things I want to do. And I have spelled out my proposals in the following 58-point austerity program.
Oh, brother.
Stop it right there. That's a very common mistake for candidates that actually come from academia or from the civil sector that are very well intentioned, but that they just believe and assume that everybody has the same interests as them. And then they come with these huge proposals, not understanding that people like to simplify their message. The people like to digest easy messages. This doesn't mean that people are stupid. This means that people have very limited spans of attention. Again, this doesn't mean that they are stupid. This means that people have simply other priorities and that they need to balance them out. You cannot arrive to a meeting with a 58-page proposal and expect everybody to read it.
Relax, I got a plan. I asked around the jungle gym, and according to my polls, approximately half of all voters consider themselves girls.
So?
So hello, you're a girl.
That's immaterial to who would be the best president.
Trust me, Gretch, I know what I'm doing.
Identity politics might work at the beginning, but it's not a sustainable strategy.
Girls for Gretchen! 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 Girls for Gretchen!
Hey, she's actually getting some support. I'm still gonna win and everything, right?
Don't worry your handsome head, Vince. I got a plan. A little something I learned from the presidential election of 1912.
This is so funny. They're making here a reference about the American 1912 election. Many of you don't know this, but then I'm gonna simplify it. This was an election where there was an incumbent president, but Theodore Roosevelt, who was at the time at the Republican Party, left the Republican Party, and then it split it into two sections. The splitting of the Republican Party gave a very good opportunity for the Democratic Party to win the election, which ultimately they did.
And so, as the nominee of the Girls for Gretchen party, I promise to work unceasingly to build a bridge to the next grade and beyond. I promise to form a council of students, one from every grade, to solve the problems facing every third streeter. And furthermore, I promise to do everything I can to...
Something's up. Let's tail him.
And if you, vote for me, I won't invite you to my birthday party, but photos from it will be posted where you can see them, and then you can, totally imagine you were there.
So that's Detweiler's game, eh? Split the vote just like Wilson did back in the general election of 1912.
How educated are these kids? That's really funny, but yes, split the vote. Now, this doesn't work only in politics, this also works in civil movements. If you think about it, when you are running a civil movement, when you are in a social cause or in a political cause, you have to do something that is mapping where your resources are. And part of the resources is understanding who is on your favor and who your opposition is. And once that you have done that, actually strategies that we have seen that work over and over again is rather gather all of the supporters to support your cause and then to make you a stronger candidate, or to divide the opposition. I still have some personal concerns about dividing the opposition because I don't think it's fully ethical unless that it is actually like in the 1912 election, that it was a generic movement because there was a disagreement within the party. But creating divisions, I don't think is a very ethical thing.
Now remember, girls like guys who are sensitive, okay? Be sensitive.
All right already, I'm sensitive.
Okay, do it.
There, young man, there's nothing to be upset about. I will continue to provide sterling leadership for this grade, right up to the last day of school and into the summer break.
Thanks, Vince. Things seem so much better and brighter now. I'm voting for you, and I hope all my friends will too.
That Vince is so sensitive. He's got my vote.
You might think that this is very manipulative, but if we take the payment element out of it, actually this is very normal. You want to use the stories of the people to project on why you are the leader that they need. So actually it's not bad to look for those stories within your movement, within your organization, and then to put them out there to actually get more support. That is actually fine.
Mikey? Gus?
Me not Mikey, me kindergartner. Yeah, and me not Gus either.
Come on, guys. We just want to know we can count on your votes tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe we could buy you guys a soda or something.
So, trying to bribe voters, huh? Well, two can play that game. Come on, guys. Me and Gretch will buy you an ice cream.
We'll buy you an ice cream float. That's ice cream and soda mix.
Oh, yeah? Well, we'll buy you a float and a burger to go with.
There is a point in every campaign where you actually start looking at the polls, you start looking at the data, and that is a very important thing. You always need to look at the data to know where your support base is. And then you will start understanding that maybe you need to look for the people who are undecided. Now, this is only in close races. I will say that actually a lesson that I have seen on the road is that the first thing that you need to do is to gather the support that you know you have for sure. You have to talk first to the people that are resonating with your message. Afterwards, the ones who are undecided.
Friends, classmates, fourth graders, we stand at a crossroads, a bridge to the horizon of the future. And who do you want to lead you into that future? Gretchen or me? I have kicked more kickballs over the school fence than any kid in 3rd Street history. Gretchen has kicked none. In conclusion, I ask this question. Who should lead you? I believe the answer is obvious. Vote LaSalle. Because a vote for me is a vote for a winner!
So here's the thing, maybe I was a little bit too harsh on the kickball thing, but actually maybe that's something that is very engaging and important for the kids. So maybe I was wrong about what the real issues are. Also, a very important thing to remember, Gretchen has only been giving speeches, where the other candidate has been actually trying to mix the thing. He has been using speeches, but he has been also trying to approach the people. So I really wonder how people will react to this only one-way communication of Gretchen.
Boys and girls of 3rd Street, a lot has been said over the past few days, very little of it worthwhile. So I just want to take this one last opportunity to talk to you about the issues. Or at least one really important issue.
Oh no, she wouldn't. Not after all I've done for her.
See, I have this idea, more like a dream really. A dream of a council of students made up of representatives from every class. A council that listens to what kids need and then presents those needs to the faculty. Now, I know I'm not the coolest kid in school or the most popular, but I promise you one thing. If you elect me, I'll work hard to make my dream, and maybe some of yours, a reality.
Well, I really admire what she has done here. First of all, she has fallen into the temptation of only using the message that her campaign manager has been putting out there for her. She forgot the real reason why she wanted to run. And now she's having a genuine moment and sharing that with people. People didn't react quite good, but that is okay, because at the end, Gretchen stayed true to herself, and that's very important in a candidate.
Okay, everyone. The 4th grade teachers have added up the votes, and the winner is... by a single vote, Gretchen Brummer! In your face! In your face! Gretchen! Gretchen! Gretchen!
I'm very surprised that Gretchen won. Well, if you think about it, actually it is very good, the narrative on how she changed, because she started with this identity politics. Spinelli was also supporting this idea, but at the end, she addressed the people as boys and girls, and maybe that gained her some support and some votes. But then again, let's see the explanation of this. I'm very surprised that she won, actually.
If it's any consolation, I was just as surprised as you were.
Oh, I wasn't surprised.
You weren't?
Don't let it get around, but the one vote you won by, it was mine.
You mean, you voted for me? Why?
Because you were right. You wanted to win so you could do something really cool. Me? I just wanted to win so I could win.
I don't know what to say.
Just do a great job, okay?
I will, but first, there's something very important I have to do.
Oh yeah, you gotta put together that council of students.
Nope, more important than that. I gotta play a game of tetherball with a worthy opponent. And a good friend.
That's really cool. That's a very mature also approach. I'm really happy that number one, that he voted for her because he understood that actually she was fighting the good cause. But then I'm also like very proud because she approached him and she was being a good sport, and then to say, hey, I'm sorry that you lost, but you were a worthy opponent, and we cannot continue in this game of just us versus them. So it's actually very symbolic that one candidate approaches the other and says, hey, it was a good race, now let's just work together for whatever happens. We're friends at the end.
Someone's digging, my lord. Kumbaya.
Faculty approaching!
Well, this was a fine episode. I'm very surprised that Gretchen won. She was only giving speeches and she was not very engaging. So even if she managed to actually get the 50% of the vote, that's very surprising. But then I understand that, of course, the other candidate voted for her, and that is fine. But I still think that if you want to be a good candidate, you actually have to be more of a people's person, and then you have to engage the community. It's not only about you, it's about the common problems. It's not only about the issue that she wants to build up this council of students. It's about matters that actually are important for all the students and not only for her. So let's recap some of the lessons that we got from this episode. So in the first place, identity politics is a strategy, but it's not the best strategy. Identity politics actually just makes more division than uniting. In this case, identity politics worked for her and then got her 50% of the vote, but in the real life, actually identity politics will work at the beginning, but it will end up not being a sustainable strategy, and it will not end up well for the campaign. The second lesson I want to talk about is actually about only giving speeches instead of showing up to the community. As I said, I'm surprised, but I think that it's very important to learn the lessons from the opponent and then to see how engaged he was with the community and with the students, because that's what made him a good candidate. And I still believe that it's better to lose being a good candidate than to win just being a one-speech candidate. And the last lesson is that even if you're not working in politics, if you're working for a social cause, it is very important that you map who are your opponents and who are your supporters. And then understanding what are their motives, what are their weaknesses, and what are the power that they have is very important. I'm not saying that you can divide the opposition just like it happened in 1912, but I am saying that it's very important to identify who is for you and who is against you. I still think that Recess was a very good show and gave many important lessons to kids like me. But what do you think? Leave a comment on the comment section. Maybe suggest to me what is the next episode or cartoon that I should be reacting to. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I hope to see you next time. See ya!